Today's presentation is the shared essence of compassion. We will contemplate the concept that we live through an act of compassion along with the world that surrounds us. When we look at our human history, we see a tapestry of contrast. Conflict intertwines with care. Domination mixes with benevolence. Yet if we step beyond the headlines, we can see that over time, our desire for health, learning, and care has expanded. We are imperfectly but perceptibly winning against cruelty through our societal structures and everyday kindness within it. The animating force behind this movement is compassion, a felt recognition of another's need, a readiness to alleviate suffering, and a desire to see life flourish. What is the nature of this virtue? If you would, close your eyes for a moment and take a few deep breaths, nice and slow. Feel the air come in through your nose and gently out through your mouth. Continue this rhythmic breathing. When you're ready, place your right hand on your heart. Feel the energy pulsating there along with your beating heart, and continue your rhythmical breathing. We share this invisible guiding energy that keeps all of us pulsating with life. There is a care and concern beyond our own that grants this gift to us. Now, keeping your right hand on your heart, place your left index finger on your forehead. Is there a kind of inner gravity tugging our choices toward care and concern beyond our own? If consciousness is a bridge to the cosmos, then acting with compassion through thought, through the guidance of the way of the heart, may be how we share its character. You can drop your hands whenever you're ready. This discourse explores compassion as that shared essence. It examines how compassion arises, why it matters so much, and how we can better cultivate it. Compassion existed in this world before we named it as a pattern in living systems where organisms cooperate, protect, and adapt together. Consider the root systems of plants that share nutrients, or animals that adopt orphaned young, or the human impulse to help a stranger in distress. These occurrences are signatures, signatures of life's underlying adaptation of a life-granting compassion. This benevolent impulse threads through all forms of consciousness that we know. Science and mysticism can be thought of as perhaps an outward development of heart and mind. They approach the mystery of consciousness from different directions, yet they converge on one point. We are made of the universe, and the universe is present in us. The scientific perspective can describe consciousness as a phenomena arising from patterns of electrical and chemical interactions that generate awareness. The mystical perspective regards consciousness as a spark, a reflective property of being shining through us. using our bodies as instruments. Our capacity for awareness, connection, and moral insight suggests that the non-physical dimensions of experience participate in the fabric of reality as meaningfully as mass and energy do. If so, compassion may be a fundamental component of consciousness, a tendency toward resonance rather than separation, toward healing rather than harm. If the cosmos emerged in a burst of potential, such as the theory of the Big Bang, did the possibility of compassion arise with it? If laws of physics pattern matter's relations, might there also be laws of care that pattern relational life? Across scales of life, compassion naturally and ceaselessly harmonizes systems to support themselves through cooperation to survive and thrive. Our universe is elegantly ordered, from the dance of galaxies to the fidelity of DNA replication. Within this symmetry and balance, life emerges, tends itself, and seeks equilibrium. Our bodies are microcosms of this symmetry, guided by that same intelligence. We are continually sustained by processes beyond conscious control. Circulation, respiration, cellular renewal, each a cooperative symphony enabling life to persist. Just as our bodies coordinate for survival, compassion acts between individuals. Where that compassionate energy from the cosmic maintains our bodies, that same energy shares a different level of compassion, acting through us to stabilize our relationships with others, reducing suffering, increasing inclusion, repairing ruptures, and creating more harmonious conditions. So we have physiological compassion operating behind the scenes of our consciousness, quietly keeping the body alive, and relational compassion, also operating behind the scenes, though we are aware of it, guiding our actions toward the good. Expanding out further, there is family compassion, community compassion, and so forth, ever spiraling to imprint the nature of cosmic evolution. We can see from these words that as above, so below is more than a metaphor. It is active in our world, all around us. The same benevolent tendency toward order that sustains stars and cells echoes in human hearts and societies. Compassion is coherence expressed as care. Compassion in our world often travels through vehicles such as education, medicine, law, economy, arts, and civic life. It transforms empathy into systems that reduce suffering and expand opportunity. Education cultivates human potential, embodying a belief that every mind matters. Medicine seeks healing, turning the impulse to care for the sick into treatment. Laws defend right action and watches out for the vulnerable. Economic safety nets show compassion for those who face hardship. Art and culture allow us to journey beyond ourselves, to see other perspectives, and to imagine better futures. These institutions we have built are imperfect, yet they are living embodiments of compassion's movement through us into civilization. They require tending, reform, and renewal because compassion is not a finished product. It is in all of us an ongoing process. Our nervous systems are social instruments, tuned to cues of safety, distress, and affiliation. We naturally want to help, give, and care, to bond with others, and we often mirror others in our stances and movements. Such activity suggests that we naturally wish to attend to others' needs. Compassion is interpreted, compassion is interpreted, and our awareness of it is guided by the learning we acquire through our experiences. It evolves in us through practice, reflection, and cultivation. It becomes intuitive, sustainable, and more a part of our everyday actions over time. In short, our life is the vessel receiving the potential of compassion, and our consciousness recognizes and eventually conforms to this benevolent urging, allowing cosmic will to spread into our terrestrial world through our kind acts. Since we are the vessels for compassion's movement into the human kingdom, and therefore into the world, we can and should strive to cultivate its effects within us. We can do this in several ways. Being kind to ourselves when we make mistakes, taking care of ourselves through proper sleep, nutrition, and movement, developing a kind inner dialogue, and practicing mindfulness through our mystical work, meditation, contemplation, deep breathing exercises. This helps to maintain this instrument, this temple, through which compassion plays. Taking care of ourselves helps us recognize and share compassion inwardly, which translates to sharing it with our outer circumstances, surroundings, and relationships. Its effects become stronger with us when practiced at multiple levels. Compassion is our experience of the divine's effort to express itself into consciousness. It tends toward form that sustains life. Where domination isolates, compassion integrates. Where fear contracts, compassion opens. Think of an animal that has been through abusive trauma. They are initially unapproachable and may even lash out if we get too close. Over time, with patience and understanding, they begin to open up, allowing us to pet them and take better care of them. Eventually, when trust has been built, they open up completely into loving companions, sharing compassion with us. Compassion is the cosmic's directive that moves us toward upliftment. Through our consciousness, this directive becomes apparent, felt, and through our will, chosen. Our actions are the translation, turning awareness into designs and creative works in our world. It can be our moral compass, a rationale for why care is not merely noble, but natural. The universe gives us conditions for existence. Compassion persuades us to make existence worth living. We can adopt a set of simple working principles to guide us towards more compassionate action. If you haven't done so already, and this is available to anyone, download the RC, the Rosicrucian Code of Life. It maps out daily actions you can take that will attune you with this essence. All the codes listed seem extremely simple in the Rosicrucian Code of Life and can easily be followed. Yet putting them into action is more of a challenge than you might first think. Doing so, however, will bring you rewards in greater understanding and personal harmony. From this presentation, always remember that every person possesses worth. Provide assistance whenever you can, whether giving up your seat or opening a door, or of course to larger actions. Avoid harshness and practice kindness as often as you can, especially when it is difficult to do so, even if you are doing it just in your mind's eye. When you fail to do so, be kind with yourself and with your inner dialogue. Strive to empower those you bring out of misfortune and avoid creating dependency from them. If you are able, give time to causes within your community that align with you, not for material gain, but for the satisfaction you will receive from your contributions that will uniquely inspire you. Remember, you are a student and assume partial knowledge. Always invite feedback and work to have an open ear and mind. Recognize the interconnectedness of all things, and remember, harm or help rarely stays isolated. Extend compassion into nature and all of your surroundings, with the knowledge that ecological health is human health. Celebrate your inner progress with gratitude and open your eyes to the beauty of this world through your relationship with others and with all things. Another practice, if you are unable to help with programs in your area, is simply to become aware of them and to pay homage to the human effort that went into creating them and the work it takes to maintain them. Some examples of how compassion translates into tangible change that you might see are community health hubs. These are integrated clinics that combine medical care, mental health support, nutrition education, and social services. Restorative justice programs. Instead of purely punitive systems, communities work to find pathways for offenders, working with facilitators and sometimes even with victims, to seek accountability, repair, and reintegration, using compassion aligned with the justice system for change. There are mutual aid networks where neighbors coordinate to share food, childcare, transport, and emergency funds. Trauma-informed schools. Educators trained to recognize and respond to trauma, creating learning environments where students feel safe and supported. Regenerative enterprise models where businesses redesign supply chains to minimize harm, pay good wages, and invest in ecological restoration, which is compassion embedded in commerce. We have in our area a school for at-risk youth. It is housed on a golf course, and golf is used to teach proper conduct, honesty, and integrity. Amazingly, the successful graduation rate of these at-risk youth is 98%. These examples reflect compassion moving from intention to structure, care that is created, financed, measured, and continuously improving. One other area that you can obviously be aware of is your Rosicrucian affiliated body. These are members who come together. They put in their time, their volunteering to make sure that the Rosicrucian work continues to disseminate out into the world. And of course, if you're able to, as a Rosicrucian member, These affiliated bodies bring you many, many benefits. So when compassion is practiced like this with purpose and integrity, it transforms both giver and receiver, from alienation to belonging, building social fabric, trust, and fellowship, sometimes from anxiety to meaning. Helping others provides a narrative to your desire towards compassion. From reactivity to a kinder response. Compassion slows the impulse to retaliate, enabling wiser choices and kinder results. From scarcity to generosity. Compassion reframes resources as shared instruments of growth, not just zero-sum trophies. From fragmentation to integration. Compassion heals and builds character, communities, and ecosystems. Becoming aware of the work of these organizations can show the power of compassion at work. It removes it from the realm of romanticism and places it firmly upon observed reality where benevolence is at work. It is challenging for all of us to hold hope amid crises, conflict, injustice, ecological strain. Yet compassion's victories are often quiet and cumulative. The nurse who prevents an avoidable death, the mediator who averts a violent spiral, the policy reform that saves thousands over decades, the community garden that feeds and bonds neighbors, the technology redesigned to minimize harm. Progress is seldom linear. Setbacks are real. But if we look with historical perspective, we see that many indicators of collective well-being have improved through deliberate action. Compassion is the engine behind these improvements, sometimes leading, sometimes following, always insisting that we can organize care more intelligently and more inclusively to bring more goodness into our world and to better serve the divine will's movement into the world. All of us know that suffering exists and cannot be wished away. Therefore, compassion requires compassionate action. It also requires practice and discipline and discernment. All of us should remember that we live in an imperfect world. There will be setbacks and disappointments. But when this happens, step back into your reflections, knowing that compassion is the urge of the divine. Breathe, take your time, and continue to build. Working in this world, be steady, be principled, acknowledge complexity, and never abandon your care for that which is right and good. The shared essence of compassion is the felt recognition of cosmic will urging us toward right thought, word, and action. It reminds us that we are not separate, that others' welfare is bound with our own. It is the orientation toward healing, inclusion, and generosity, leading to better conditions. It is the sustained willingness to act, to sacrifice, to design structures that prevent harm and invite understanding and positive growth. If you would, please place your left index finger in the middle of your forehead again, and your right hand over your heart. If the universe is in us, and we in it, compassion is the thread that ties the inner and outer together. Our mortal thoughts, symbolized by your left forefinger, syncing with a larger impulse toward care, symbolized by your right hand. Whether we explain this impulse as neurobiology, cosmic will, or divine presence, its fruits are unmistakable. Less suffering, more dignity, and wider circles of concern. You can drop your hands if you wish. Compassion is not a one-time epiphany. It is a daily choice. It begins with recognizing your innate desire to help and matures into a practiced wisdom. It invites us to design our lives so that care is not merely an emergency response, but a standing principle. As we welcome compassion to guide awareness and action, we become conduits for something larger than ourselves, the cosmic will toward the evolution of awareness. In honoring this shared existence, we deepen our humanity and align with the underlying generosity of existence. So remember, if indeed the universe is an act of compassion, let our days be its echo, quiet, continuous, and transformative. Thank you, everyone.